welcome back to episode 23 of Retrospective Progression. I'm Aredawg, the creator hero, and I've done a little bit more work on the house. You know what? Let's just take you through it. So I did show off last time a little bit of work here, or was it the time before? I forget. And I think actually on a live stream, which was last Tuesday, I actually kind of determined what some of these rooms have function for. So this is actually going to be a bathroom. I'm going to have a little bit of a wall here. There'll be a toilet there, bathtub there, and have a little sink here, you know, once we get the banners and such. But I think this will be a nice bathroom right here. Over here, I was thinking maybe some sort of like library of some kind. Last time this wasn't all completed, so yay. This, however, still not sure about how I want to have the tower, but you can see a little bit of extra stuff that I've done over here. We'll show that off later. This was going to be like a living area that kind of looks out into over here. This was going to be a lounge here, so this is going to be another sitting area here. And then once we come around this corner, I actually decided to make these different. This is actually a kitchen, and I actually extended the wall here. So instead of this wall kind of coming back this way and then going out this way, I extended this out, and then I cut this portion out here to have like a little bar serving area here. So, you know, whenever I'm entertaining guests, which I don't know if I'll guests. Yeah, whenever I'm entertaining guests here, you know, we can have them, you know, pass food over here, so someone could be working in the kitchen, be like, here's order up or something. Okay, maybe not, because this is a private venue. But then I also did extend this room because I was thinking of having a big table here, and maybe you know, this is a little bit of a bar that you can sit at and be like, hey, get me a drink. Can you give me some of the fridge? No? I have to do it myself? Okay. But yeah, I decided to kind of bust this out a little bit more so that I could put a nice table here. Busted out this window, so at least we have something nice to look at. We're not going to have much on this wall here. There's going to be no windows here because this is actually going to be like part of a cavern. So we're literally just being in a part of a cavern here. So then we go upstairs, and it's a work in progress here, but we have another room here. I'm thinking this might be like some sort of sitting room as well. I don't know. A lot of sitting room. Maybe this will be a library. Maybe this will be like a little office. I'll have a little desk here. We'll figure that out. But then I also have this right now. This currently goes up to here. I did get that completed, but now I'm slowly working on getting the rest of this. Over here, I'm going to have another little bathroom. This one's going to be, this is where the bathtub will be, toilet will be over here, and then we'll have a sink either here or here. I'm thinking probably here, though. So, yeah, this will be like another communal bathroom. And it's right next to actually one of our first bedrooms. So this is going to be like a guest bedroom, or, you know, maybe a second bedroom for like a roommate or something. And this is supposed to be kind of a closet here. We'll figure something out to make this a little bit more closety space. But for now, I think this looks good. Coming down this way, we have the second bedroom. And this one actually has a smaller closet here. Mostly because this wall breaks right out into the tower, so it's obviously going to go right by it. And then over here, we have the master bedroom. So somewhere over here, we're probably going to have a bed. You know, the bed before the bed, so it's going to be the big woolly bed. And I might eventually put an actual small bed in here somewhere. We'll see. This is going to be like the front sink area, so it's going to be like a double sink. And then over here, I'm going to be careful, this is going to be like a walk-in closet, so there's going to be a lot of closet storage space in here. This is a toilet. It's a Yeah, it's a room for a toilet. And then this right here is actually going to be like a jacuzzi spa. So it's going to be like a bigger, like inlaid spa kind of treatment, which may or may not work with this. But once I get to be able to waterlog some trapdoors, I think that'll be fine. But that's not for a while. Again, this plan right here is mostly just to make sure I have an idea of things. So that is going to be the house and the plans for the rooms. Again, right now, there's not a lot of blocks that I could use to actually make this, you know, the way I want it, because limited palette. But I was also saying this on a live stream. There's a couple other things I want to do up in this area. So I'm thinking of having a 3-tiered system in this section. I think this is the first section I kind of want to work on. And this is kind of one of the residential loops around here. We've got our second residential loop, which will be down here, and it'll go out to over here. But our first residential loop, we have, and I have an idea for what I want to do in this area. I want to have another large, like, house right here. Different in design to this, of course. Over here is going to be where another house kind of comes into play. And then right above here is going to be the fourth house. So there's going to be 4 houses. This is going to be just like a standard walkway in. And underneath these 4 houses is going to be a little bit more middle classy type houses. So again, these are more opulent, more large housing up here. And then this level is going to be a little bit, you know, like they're still big, but they're not like thousands of rooms big. Like that is a... I don't know how many bedrooms and bathrooms. It's at least 3 baths. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 bedrooms, and then we got it's probably about 7 bedroom possibilities, something like that. And then there's a tower, of course, you know. So there's a lot of stuff in there. So it's not going to be anything like that. These are probably going to be like 4 or 5 rooms. So you've got 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and dining room combination, and then a sitting room and something else, or, you know, something along those lines. And then down here, this is going to be where a much more simpler housing is. So this is probably going to be 1 or 2 rooms. So it's like a living room, kitchen, dining room combo plus a little bedroom. So this is supposed to be like the poor section, quote unquote. And then of course here in the middle, since this is a big area, I might have, you know, some other, you know, smaller housing here as well. And then if it goes up, some of the larger housing above it. And of course the communal outhouse, because yeah, down here there's not a lot of bathrooms. So, and then once I do that, then I'll probably slowly work on figuring out how I want the mountain to look on this side. So that way I can figure out where this tower is going to poke out and how tall I want it to be. So that's the general plan. Figure out how I want the cavern to look, because I'm wanting it to go from this house to this house, and from that house over to this house, and, you know, just kind of give a good basic look to this place. So as the sun goes down, that's this area. Let's go check out my quarry. So over at the quarry, and on the live stream before the last one, so the one that just came right after episode 22, I actually dug out a little bit of a new area. We kind of figured out a new idea for how I'm going to be housing the ore that I process, all the cobblestone I get, and essentially I decided we're gonna use carts kind of like this size. Obviously, this is not going to be the actual cart that we're going to use because it's made of cobblestone. I do want to use basalt when I have the ability to, or maybe just black concrete and a stone button to make this look like a wheel. And then the rest of this, like, it could just be stone, or it could be some other stuff. But essentially, this size of cart is meant to go in here. So this is supposed to be a track. Now, if you remember from my last episode, I decided to make this little mine shaft here. So this actually works for my personal mine shaft. But if I'm going for the lore of the world, I kind of wanted to have something along these lines. So this is going to be a much larger, like, cart to move the stone and ores and processing stuff. And of course, it's going to go all the way into here. Now, I did make sure that this is high enough, because that's about 4 blocks high, that if I have stuff that kind of comes up out of there, which I might do like some coal once we get coal blocks and like redstone blocks and lapis blocks, which we can get eventually. I kind of wanted this to actually fit in here, so it makes it livable, or kind of gives it a little bit of life. And of course, these tracks are meant to actually turn right over to here. And then right here is where I was going to have the crane, which will pick up the carts, swing them over this way, and then somewhere over on this side, we will have the trucks that'll basically go through this forest to a little dock that's over there, and then they will be shipped off to the docks for the dwarves. So again, the dwarves are going to be a little bit of a ancient / old style. There's a spider somewhere. And then this is more of a modern setup. There might be a futuristic setup somewhere that we might put in. But for now, this is the actual room. We're going to have an elevator that kind of is situated right in the center. This elevator is going to go all the way down to the bottom. And then when I say all the way down to the bottom, I don't just mean to the bedrock on this version. I mean the bedrock way, way in the future with the caves and cliffs. So we're going to go down to -64, or as close to -64 as we can. But for now, obviously, this is as far as we can go. And I've decided to kind of have this size. I'm actually going to be making this much bigger, because each of these, like, I'm thinking I should have a little bit of a spiral corkscrew that kind of goes down, and every so often this will actually open up into like a mine shaft in here. It's all going to be on this side of the wall. I'm not going to do anything over here, nor am I going to do anything over there. But it's all going to be on this side of the wall, and there's just going to be a place where these carts will kind of stay stashed. We'll actually have one of the carts moving on the elevator, but one of the things I want to establish first is I want to establish kind of a bit of a region here, and we're going to do this size of a hole. And if you saw in my inventory real quick, which I will actually show again, I have ladders here. So we're going to dig this section down, and then we're going to have ladders that kind of go all the way up. So in that way, we aren't just stuck down there. So I'm actually going to work on that because I want to get this done, and I want to show off the progress. I really wish I had like a camera mod or a cam account that I could just have, sitting here that looks like this, that every so often would just slowly begin to pan down the further I go. But yeah, I'm a solo player. No multiplayer here. So yeah, I will start working on this, and I will bring you back in once that has been done. And here we are dug all the way down. So we are at eye level 6.62. So this is level 5. Yeah, I did have a little bit of an issue up here. In fact, we could probably just climb up these this way. Oh, there's no way to shift on this yet. I don't think shift on ladders is available until they remove the ability to have every other one. But yeah, let's just go up a little bit further. So yeah, I had a little bit of trouble in this area. A little dark spot there. Fought some skeletons and zombies and a creeper. But yeah, combat, even though I was spamming my sword as much as I could, yeah, it wasn't happy. But I did get some good stuff here. I didn't get any lapis, though, so that is still something to get. But if we could just imagine this whole area here dug all the way down to about there, I mean, and then push this back a little bit to dig this down all the way to down there, and then further. This is going to be a lot of stuff right here. So, for now, I mean, this will probably be helpful for me to work on some of the wall. So let's drop this stuff off. And I'm actually thinking, and it's getting close to nighttime, maybe during the day I should work a little bit on some terraforming here. So we'll clean this up a little bit. I'm still going to keep a little cobblestone, but I'm going to give it a little bit more of a shape. And then that sheep was up on that tree. Then we'll probably do a little bit more work on the wall, and I actually have another project that I kind of want to start on as soon as I can, of course. So let me drop this stuff off, and we'll come back to do a little bit of terraforming there. But I've kind of built a little bit more here. I've at least got a little flat area, you know, put some cobblestone there. But now I think I want to do this a little bit of terraforming. Hi, zombie. On camera. Probably not going to be around here. Because I think it'd just be a good idea to do so. Let's come up from over here. So essentially what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to kind of like keep this, we're wanting to make this connect to this side over here with very little like change to it. So this definitely will need to be like covered in and such. So let's just start by bringing this across. And let's just bring it all the way. Now, it's not going to be, like, right now this is going to be flat. But we can always, like, reshape this however we want it to be shaped. Okay. So, we do want it to... Looks like this kind of just angles up in a diagonal sense. This one kind of bubbles out, so we're probably actually looking at having this maybe come out a little bit more. I don't think I have enough dirt for this. Probably should get more dirt, but I have plenty, so we'll probably pull it out like so. Yeah, and then maybe just a little bit more here. Okay. So then we can actually move this back to about here. Let's pull this forward to here. So we can actually have this, do that, and then we can bring this all the way back to here. All right. So I'm going to do this kind of like layer by layer, which should light this interior up. So let's just do a little bit of lighting here. And there's light there. And let's do it right there. And we will add some more here. Again, I'm just going to start placing where I think would be good. Let's probably push this back a little bit. In fact, I think I can get rid of that because I don't need that. And let's see if we actually pull it up here, then we can actually have it like so. So we're just kind of slowly like angling this upwards. So I can continue making this kind of come up over here. Let's pop that there. Let's actually remove these two so we can actually do that. And bring this over here like so. Yeah. I think this is going to be fairly good. So I will we'll leave it like that for now. Let's go take a look at it below and just get a sense of how does it look. Does it look too straight? Does it look too... It does look a little too straight. And then I have to shape this stuff out, which means I'm gonna need to pull this down a bit. If I go here, let's pop up here. And then we will actually use a little bit of cobblestone. This will probably be replaced with stone. We'll do that. And of course, we're gonna take that out so we can put that in like so. This definitely will be replaced with actually we could just fill this in. Let's just fill this in right now. All right, so that looks a little better on this side. And then we just have this side to do. So let's go ahead and just do this. Let's go ahead and let's put that there. That'll be something to fix up. In fact, we'll just fill this in with dirt as best we can. Add torch. We'll probably reshape some of this because it's looking a little too flat, but In general, I think that looks a little better. Yeah, it looks too flat, but for right now, I'm just kind of getting the idea of the shape that I want to go with, and then I'll just make it look nicer and neater. Maybe I'll bring this out a little bit more, so in that way it's not that this is just straight flat here. So bring this out, pull that up, and definitely put that stuff up there. So I think this looks good for now. Let's go work on our secret project. That is a nice statue. Oh yeah. We are over here at the Growlie challenge area. Hold on a second. We're over at the Growlie challenge area for a specific reason. Don't worry about what happened there. No reason. So the big thing that I'm actually doing here at Growlie Challenge Island is, of course, this is where all the Growlie challenges will be placed. This was our first challenge that we did, was to build a statue out of gold and diamonds. That was done in episode 11. And then over there we have the entrance to the Nether coaster, which was done in episode 20. So that was like 3 episodes ago. So yeah, if you really should check that one out. I really like the Nether coaster, and showing off with Growlie, that was a lot of fun. But this next challenge that Growlie gave to me was to make a very colorful build with some music, because note blocks are available and we now have colored wool. Hence why I'm also getting a lot of wool, because I'm gonna need it. So one of the things that I was kind of figuring out to do, and I may have to do this as a 2-parter. I was thinking of making a carousel, like an actual carousel, like, but not like one that functions. So there's not going to be a whole lot of redstone that's going to make it like spin around or anything like that. That's a little bit more intense than I expect to do. So yeah, that's not gonna happen. But I am thinking of just like a stationary carousel, and I'm thinking somewhere in this area would be nice. Now, the reason that I'm having some of these blocks here is because I want to figure out the size of the carousel that I want to make, and I'm gonna need to dig down a little bit more, because the more I think about trying to make the note blocks and music for this, oh, give me a second. The more I think about how the music's gonna work, I realized one major issue is gonna come into play, and that's gonna be redstone. I don't have repeaters. Repeaters, I believe, come in beta 1.4 or 1.3. I think it's beds. No, I think it's beds and repeaters come in 1.3, as well as smooth lighting. So while smooth lighting will be nice to have, repeaters are going to be a fantastic update for the redstone. And unfortunately, we don't have that yet. So, one second. So for me to actually work on kind of getting music set up, I can't actually have a song that plays in sequential order. I'm gonna have to have some sort of like, maybe I have chords that'll play, that'll kind of go off each other. Like at one point it'll go at one side and then another, like, but I'd have to come up with a timer for it, and then I have to basically pull the redstone off of that timer, and that's gonna be a problem without repeaters, simply because the way the redstone works right now, it's either on or off. There's no delay to it. Delay only comes with repeaters. Repeaters give you that timer functionality, you know, and then comparators later on, and also hoppers with comparators and all that fun stuff. But this is going to be a much bigger issue. So I need to have a good size, and maybe once we get this dug out, we can figure out how we're gonna, make this. So I'm thinking, let's say this section right here is going to be the size of our carousel. That's the word I'm looking for. So we've already got 14. I kind of see this is 16. This is gonna be 18, 20. Let's go 22. Let's go 24. So we're gonna go 24 this way, which means we need to go 23 this way, and then we need to do another 23, and then 22. If I calculate this out correctly, I should get a full square. So we're going to do a 24 by 24 area. And basically this is where we're going to have the carousel. And of course it's going to go over these torches here. Because these torches are not in line with anything. Not like what I've done over there. And then this should line up, and this should actually be nice and neat. So what I'm going to do probably on a live stream, which is the day after this episode comes out, so Tuesday, cross stream, both on Twitch and YouTube. I'll probably work on digging this section down a little bit, flattening a little bit of this out, maybe making this a little bit higher here. Terraforming a little bit and kind of figuring out the size that we'll need. And then next episode, I'll play around with doing some timings with torches, redstone torches, and redstone dust, because those are the only redstone components we really have. A while back I did, here's all the redstone stuff that we have. We have, I think, 1 or 2 more items that are available with redstone, but yeah, not yet. We're not there yet. So I'm thinking this is a good place for me to end it. And I know I said this was going to be my main project, or my secret project, but yeah, I kind of wanted to get this project started a little early because of the fiddliness with redstone. So that's why I'm going to start it now as opposed to waiting for a couple more episodes. And I still need to make that wall back there and get rid of that line there. It's not needed. But I'm going to need to go get myself more wool by killing sheep, because no way to get wool without having to kill them, because shears aren't a thing yet. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. But you know what? I think this is a good place, and I will actually talk with you guys next time. So I want to say thanks for coming along with episode 23 of Retrospective Progression. If you like the video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. Later.